Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Have a lovely day, and let's continue the topic. The next, what is that we are talking about? The Hindu Mahasabha and the RSS. So, what things are happening in this Hindu Mahasabha and RSS that we are going to understand and learn in this topic? RSS is nothing but Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. So, what was the agreement which was made between Muslims and as well as Congress ministers? So, that are the things what we are going to know and understand in this. So, what was the ideology of the Muslims? They are seriously saying that Congress is nothing but a Hindu party, and they no way invited Muslims to join with them, like forming of coalition. They rejected them. So with that intention, here Muslims are having a negative ideology on the Congress ministers. But what was the explanation of Congress ministers? They made us clear is that either Hindu or Muslim, we are not any other separate nation. Hindu, Muslim, we are only related to the one particular nation, India. No way this is called two different nation theory. So such type of explanation was made clearly, and they said very clearly, it is a part and parcel of India, no any other nation which it belongs. So these are the things what it made clearly by the one what we call the Congress ministers. So this is the one what it made clearly regarding the one what we call introducing of one what we called the Hindu Mahasabha as well as RSS. But anyway, at last the Muslim leaders were having only the conclusion, no way the Congress ministers are going to be allowed or to make friendly nature with them. That was there in their mindset. So that was the end. And next, what is that called? The Pakistan resolution. So no way this important regarding one what we call Pakistan resolution. How this word which has come, no one has dreamed actually what these things are going to be happen. Here one of the famous Urdu writer named called Muhammad Iqbal is an Urdu writer. What he has written means Sare Jahan se Acha Hindustan Hamara. So that what he was made clearly that making as one Hindustan Hamara, Sare Jahan se Acha Hindustan Hamara. That's what he has been described. And previously, 1930, Chaudhary Rahmat Ali, a young Cambridge student, what he was doing the thing here means he has been started distributing the pamphlets. What was the pamphlet means? As they are having an idea to have a separate nation called Pakistan. So Pakistan, what it says, Punjab, Afghan, Sindh. So making of Balochistan with the northwestern part to be made as one. What is his ideology? So due to that he started making printing of these pamphlets and he started distribution. But the Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, at that moment nobody cares about these all things. But here these are the two people, already they have the intention. That was highlighted and they came to know the people how these importance was standing for the one word what we call Pakistan. So these are the things which is going on here to make of all what we call Pakistan resolution. So what was the thing here they want means, as this is only the thing which is going on between Congress ministers and as well as Muslim League. The Muslim League seriously they decided as only one thing. What is that means? No way the Congress will make Muslims to have their autonomy or to have the supremacy. And almost all the duration, if you see the 1940s, only the tradesmen, businessmen, merchants, zamindars, all these are only related to Hindu mythology. That was the task what they have been decided, and they ultimately what the Congress minister decided means no way these people are ready to listen. So this is what they came to understand very clearly, that they don't want to unite with India. That was the demand, because that became very strong. The Muslim leaders are very strong in opposing of this Congress ministers, and their mindset, as I already said for you, it was only fixed with one what we call Hindu party. So with that elimination of such type of Congress ministers to make, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah was very clear about the one, what he says that they are in need of only a separate nation to be called Pakistan. That was the intention. Till that time they don't have the idea, but at last that was the thing what they are getting. So these are the two things which are going between Congress ministers and as well as Muslim League, and Muslim League especially the one Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder. So there then the situation which is existing, and that what it has been continued. The Pakistan resolution from 1942-46, the things which were happened only, the one like showing favoritism to all the Hindu Congress ministers and neglecting the Muslims. So even all the zamindars, moneylenders, traders, businessmen, everyone was only there in favor of Congress ministers, and that they are not ready to accept or follow such type of Hindu party to continue, and Muslims they decided to have a separate nation. So there and then 1942 to 45, most of the Congress leaders were in the jail, as we have already seen earlier. What we call them as satyagrahis, the people who are involved only for attaining of independence. But meanwhile, the Britishers, what was the step which they have been taken counterpart of that? Everyone was there in prison. So 1942 to 45, most Congress leaders were in jail, and that was the advantage for the League. So due to that, what happened means the League made of use, and that is the right time they can have what the dream is going to be fulfilled. So this is what it happened. So here what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was pointed out, especially related to this, how the British going to be involved related to Congress ministers, and how the British is going to be involved related to Muslims. So what is his idea means, how this imperialism and imperial masters have to live. As his point says that clearly, Hindus and Muslims are only a part and parcel of India. How they can make deviate? So such type of imperial masters should live. That is what is his intention. What he clearly said by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar regarding this issue. So that was the end. And coming to the next, who will make the British quit India? So what it means quit means leave. Now ultimately, what we are in need, what we require is that Britishers have to leave our country. That is the main target. So in this regard, what happened here in the year 1941, Japan started expanding total power and command towards the Southeast Asia. They want to capture, as we have already seen and we know about this, Axis power, allied powers. So how these nations like in the last Second World War, as we have already discussed, Japan and Germany tried to invade USA related to what we call Pearl Harbor, and not only that, Japan tried to attack USA, Germany is trying to attack USSR. So this is the conclusion as we have already learned in Second World War. So in this connecting to this, when the Japan was trying to invade or to expand the Southeast Asia, at that time in the year 1942, as we are there under the colonial rule, colonial is nothing but British rule, and who was the Prime Minister was there called Mr. Winston Churchill. So being the Prime Minister, now what was his ideology, what he was thinking, as it says clearly, the year 1942, nothing but 1939 to 1945, it is the time of Second World War. So in this regard, what Mr. Churchill was planning, one or the other way, Indians should support to Churchill, by that they can defeat Japan. That is what is his ideology. So in this connectivity, what Mr. Churchill has made on his way, he called to Sir Stafford Cripps to make a negotiation. Negotiation in the sense nothing but talks with Congress ministers and as well as Gandhi. So with this connectivity, Sir Stafford Cripps came to India to have the talk as a call from Winston Churchill. So he came and he started making negotiation. But meanwhile, they are not ready to accept. So in this connectivity, Gandhiji, what he decided means the only one with his intention to start or launch the movement in the year 1942. What is it called? Quit India movement. Quit India means leave India. Who have to leave means Britishers have to leave. That was the ultimate task of Gandhiji with introducing of the program called Quit India movement. Leave India. And the famous slogan of Gandhiji, do or die. Attain for independence or it is better to die. With this intention, this was started and most of the Congress leaders, one of the important among that, Jayaprakash Narayanan. Not only one, men, women, children, all over the country, people were enthusiastically participated, and they don't want to see the British rule in our country, and the main intention is that Britishers have to leave, then only we can achieve and we can get our freedom. So that was the thing which was started. So how it was started means Satara towards the west, Midnapur towards the east, in all aspects. As you know that east or west, India is the best. Mera Bharat Mahan. So that was the feeling which was there in every Indian, showing the patriotic feeling, and that is only the call given by Gandhiji with the movement what we call Quit India movement. So now what was the task is going on? Three important things here. One is British, the other one is Japan, and we the Indians. So how to overcome the Japan and how to eliminate or defeat the British? This is what a controversial question which has been remained. And even whatever Winston Churchill, he made the talks with Sir Stafford Cripps, it was not success. That talks have been failure, and ultimately we need of only one what we call achieving the freedom. The British suppressed the rebellion, then it took the time for 1 year, and what was the next? The CPI, the Communist Party of India, tried to support the British. So what was the task? As we know that we are there under the British rule, and British's intention is that they want to take only the support of India. The war which is continuing, like what we call Second World War. So it was alarmed that the attack on the Soviet Union by the Nazism, as we have already seen, this is only 1939 to 1945 related to the Second World War. So meanwhile, one or the other way, unless and until when Indians are going to be support to the British, and the Britishers can easily defeat the Axis power, and they are going to be stand as an allied one. So this is what they have been decided over there in this. So for that, what was the next task here about Gandhiji? Gandhiji's intention is that, as we have already seen, Quit India movement 1942, do or die. So in this, what he was thinking means Japan and as well as Americans. So both of them became very problematic, and how these people have to be eliminated from our nation. Of course, Japan is related to Asian continent, but in this one, what was the first decision? Means first Europeans have to be leave over India. They have to quit the Europeans. Then after we can able to see about the Japanese. What Gandhiji was started thinking of this. So one or the other way, the situation became very hard, and the country was in boil. What is going on? We are going on asking, they are going on rejecting, and that was the situation which made a turmoil over there in our country, and most of them were disappointed. At that moment, here the one who was coming, Subhash Chandra Bose, in the year 1942. You know about the one what we call INA, Indian National Army. INA is nothing but Indian National Army. Indian National Army. So the founder of Indian National Army, no doubt about that, Subhash Chandra Bose, with the slogan Chalo Delhi. So these are the things what he was planning over here means, like secretly he was planning to go to Germany and as well as Japan, and whoever the people, especially the Indians who were fought against the British under the British at the time of Second World War, they were called as POWs. POW is nothing but prisoner of wars. Prisoner of wars. Prisoner of war, that is what we call POWs. So to make them to join in one what we call INA, Indian National Army, with such type of terms and condition, he want to make the people to join in his army, and he want to make usage, and with this INA he want to fight against the British. That was the ideology of Subhash Chandra Bose. But here Gandhiji was not accepting, Gandhiji was not agreed, because Japanese cannot be the liberator of India. So what was his ideology? As we know that non-violence, truth and peace. So in this connectivity, he was not supporting, he was not agreeing to Subhash Chandra Bose. But here what happened? Subhash Chandra Bose already have the background plan, one or the other way to make them the people to join over here, and we together, like forming of one what we call Indian National Army. With that army we can defeat British. That was the main intention and ideology of Subhash Chandra Bose. So with that, what are the things happened over here means, even with the rejection of Gandhiji, he involved over there and he participated there in the war. So but meanwhile, what was the thing what they says means regarding Subhash Chandra Bose, how he was no proper evidence and proof a few people say he was missing somewhere. He was landed somewhere in Singapore or somewhere in Japan or Tokyo. And few people they say that he was no more in an air crash. But there is no proper evidence. The history was unable to make or reveal, especially about the death of Subhash Chandra Bose. So these are the things which is going on. And there and then what happened means in the year 1944, then the Britishers they decided only one thing. What was the decision the Britishers are thinking means one or the other way. When the Second World War is going to be end, they decided to release Gandhiji from prison. And after releasing Gandhiji from prison, then they decided to have one more round table conference to discuss about the issue. What is that issue? As we know that transfer of power to India. So these are the things, the negotiation talks they want to make with Gandhiji, and they have a clear picture that very soon they are going to leave India. So these things which will happen over there in this. Yeah, the next upcoming topic what we are going to discuss about one called the popular upsurge movement right from 1946 to 48. So in this popular upsurge movement what we are going to discuss means how the country was boiled against of British ideology. British rules and regulation, people are not interested to follow such type of rules. So based on, depend upon that, the story what it continues. As the soldiers of INA, Indian National Army, who are imprisoned, that is the first case, and followed the Hindu-Muslim identity. So making such type of variations in differences. So all these are only the tactics which has been played by British to make such type of people to have the power. So in the initial stage, as we have already seen, the Britishers were directly supporting to the Muslim to secure them. So till that time, they don't have any intention to form such type of one what we call Pakistan. So like the various things, if you see here, on 18th February 1946, ratings of Royal Indian Navy that is there in Bombay Harbour. What was the condition situation there means black marketing, hardening, making people to get much starvation because of want of food, and that was the situation which was going over there. And most of them, men, women, children, college students, nobody is interested to work and nobody is ready to listen the British words whatever they are going to be delivered. And that was the reason here in this especially the leader who was leading what we call MS Khan. He is the man who has been made the tricolor flag, and he started that. So the people, we need only the Indian rules and regulation. We are not ready to work under the British. Though whatever the Britishers are pressurizing, like black marketing, rationing of the things which became very high, and making some or the other. So all these are the things which are imposed by British also, even though we did not care for that. So what is our ultimate task here is only that we have to fulfill our dream. What is and how it can be done means unless and until when the Britishers have to leave. So such type of things which was going on, like 78 ships and 20 shore, even they established 20,000 of men to have such type of ratings related to one. All over the country what was there means only the strikes, hurtles, making agitation movement. What was that means only to protest against of British and Indians should be safe. So no one, like men, women, children or college students, no one is interested to work under the British, and they want to make clean sweep to the British, and then only the Indians will be happy. And this was very serious. Even the Indians without taking the food, water, hunger strike is going on seriously. And here the same in the year 1946 on February 22nd, 3 lakh mill workers. This how it was meant. It's a violently this is going on. Same like 3 lakh mill workers, they put all the tools, like the equipments, whatever they hold, they stopped working over there and they came out. Even the police was there on the streets. And how was the situation? Means very violent, and continuously for 2 days non-stop they have been started participating there in the war, such type of situation. And how was the thing means just it is only like the country was in boil. That was the situation. So that movement which was started from 1946 to 48, ultimately, like what I mean to say is that either in harbor, either in industry or in factory, no mill workers, that means the Indians are not interested to work under the British. This is very clear, and that they understood very clearly. Britishers also, what is that means? Now Indians are not in a position to listen whatever we dominate, whatever we give them ideology are to make reign and to follow our principles. These are the two things which made clear. With that, it was not yet ended. It continued. Like here, what was the next happen over here regarding Bengal? Regarding the Bengal issue, landowners are making a small poor peasants. Like instead of 2 shares, they are demanding to pay them 3 shares. And this became a very serious regarding the two importance, like landowners and as well as small poor peasants. And therein this this movement is nothing but what we call that as Tebahaga movement, means dividing the production of the share into 3 parts. So instead of 2, actually they are not supposed to pay 2, like little or minimum they have to pay, but instead of that they are demanding 3% to pay. And that what the movement which was held over there in Bengal. After that, not only that, the Communist Party here related to Hyderabad, the farmers of Telangana. Generally before under the Nizam and as well as Telangana movement, as you know, the rulers who rule in our Telangana, we call them as Dorasani. So these are the people, what they are making here means farmers demand, like we don't want to pay any shareholders, or we are not supposed to pay more and more for the landlords, or like Zamindars, Jagirdars or Dorasani. With that intention, here the one more movement which was started related to Telangana regarding the farmers, like what we call Kisan Sabha. So, like 3,000 villages, almost all entire country, they started making of the revolt, especially the one what we call another revolt of peasants. This is held over there in Travancore, that is in Kerala, Punapura, Violin. So, in such a manner, these are the things which we have noticed over here. That what we call as the popular upsurge 1946 to 48. Okay, Muslim League and Congress negotiation for transfer of powers. So from the beginning, what was the ideology of British? As we know that divide and rule policy. The viceroyship in the executive, no our Indian ministers were appointed. Direct powers are with the British, indirect powers are with Indian ministers. So that was the reason in these Indian Congress ministers and as well as Muslims, they dislike the rules and regulation of British, no doubt about that. So what was the ultimate task over here, especially related to one talking about Muslim League here means, as you know that in the year 1946, Muslim League won 30% over there in provisional government and 442 out of 509 seats. So out of 509 seats, 442 they have been captured, they got in power. So with that what it says means no need of taking any other support. Generally what will be the ideology, as we know that how a winning party can make to form a government means as they have to secure more seats. So more than that, as Muslims they are already reserved. So due to that, this became as a dominant party, and more than 86% of the Muslim votes they have been secured. So with this, 1946 Congress swept the general constituencies over 91% of the non-Muslims. So that what it makes us clear. What is the thing here? We understood clearly here means no need of Congress support to make of to form their own government. So individually they got more than the requirements of the seats. So due to that, there is a chance, that is nothing but a possible alternate to partition. So why they have started making a possible alternative to partition means as they secure more seats as per the requirement, more than that they got. And there is no need to have any commitment with Congress ministers of the British, because even the British and Congress are everyone, we know that what is the rule means whoever they secure more seats, then ultimately that will be the formation of government. So that what the hopes they have, and they can fulfill the dream. So what was the next? It says a possible alternative to partition in March 1946. Like the Britishers, they started the one what we call the 3-member mission, the cabinet mission, which was set up from Delhi. What Britishers are trying to convince means to make a compromise between Congress ministers, Gandhi, and as well as Muslim leaders. So for these league, nor the Congress nor the league, they did not agree for the proposal which was made by the cabinet mission. So this cabinet mission always they don't want to transfer the power as easily whatever we are expecting. So whatever the proposal which they are making, one or the other way they are interrupting. So that what the Congress ministers and as well as Muslim League, they understood clearly, and both of them, neither Muslim League nor Congress leaders were not at all ready to accept for the proposal which was given by cabinet mission. So at these circumstances, they themselves made one decision. What does that mean? On 16th August 1946, they themselves started celebrating of the one what we call Direct Action Day, DAD. That is nothing but what we call Direct Action Day. Direct Action Day. So they themselves have decided, because as per the requirement they have reached. So due to that, without any other support, they themselves can become as a dominant, and they themselves started declaring and celebration there over there as well, what we call Direct Action Day. So in the year 1947, the Indian Union, as we know that India and Pakistan was one and the only one, like unique future. But 1947, what happened means it was bifurcated, separated, like what we call Pakistan as Islamic State, India as secular state. Because in our country there are various types of religion: Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jainism, Buddhism, Parsi, Sikh. All of the religions are there in our country. But whereas in Pakistan, only the one what we call Muslims. So in this way, these are the two things what it has been made partition. So that what they call as Pakistan, we call as India. They adopted Islamic state and we adopted the one what we call secular state. In secular state, all religions are equal, but whereas they are only preferring to one what we call Islamic. So in the month of Feb 1947, Mountbatten was replaced by Wavell, and there and that what we call Northwest Frontier Provisions. As we know that Punjab, Afghan, Northwest Frontier of Punjab, Afghan, Sindh, all these regions of Balochistan, to make such type of differences. But these all are only the one, whatever the hopes what we have tried to unite between the Hindus and Muslims, but this was the dream was not successful. And at last, what was the conclusion means? We got only the two things there: Pakistan as Islamic state, India as a secular state. So that is what it says, a possible alternative to partition. Okay, at last, partition and migrations. So in this, whatever the Gandhiji's expectation, he don't want to break the unity of Hindus and Muslims. He don't want to see any two-nation theory, what he expected. But it is beyond on his expectation. So what are the things which are happening over here? Around 1.5 crores of the people, like Hindus and Muslims, were displaced. People are in confusion, how to go and where to go, whether we have to join with Pakistan or whether we have to join with India. So people, they don't have proper transportation, they themselves are displaced and making a move with very troublesome. And what was the situation over there means almost all bloodshed movement. What Gandhi don't want to see that the same thing was happened. Gandhiji's ideology weapon is only non-violence, but here only the violent method which is going on. The blood is floating like water, and most of the Hindus and Muslims were displaced and they were no more. Most of the killings took place, and here especially around about 2 to 5 lakhs of the people were killed, both the Hindus and Muslims. So these are the things which was happening over here. Gandhiji was not at all happy, and with this Gandhiji moved among the right hit of people. He went to the hospitals and camps, he made that people to make, and he started training them to have fraternity, equality, to maintain peace and to bring people to unite together. So at that situation, one more painful thing, what is that means? The first independence, even Gandhiji was not celebrated. So these are the things, like 26 January, what we call Republic Day, but there before he said that it is the first Independence Day, and even in that day also it was not yet celebrated. The reason is that such type of killings, mass killings and bloodshed movement which he was unable to see that situation. And what was the ideology of Gandhiji? As we know that truth, non-violence and as well as peace. But this situation was turned to the other, and here the democratic secular our nation ideology that India should be a democratic, secular, and they should enjoy full rights and also equal rights to get the protection of the state, irrespective of the religion to which they belong. Whether they belong to Pakistan or whether they belong to India, irrespective of religion, whether Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikh, whatever the religion, what is his intention means they should fully enjoy the rights and they should have equality in making such type of one what we call democratic secular. So these are the things what he was expected, but all these became vain. And what was the situation means only the bloodshed movement, most of the killings of Hindus and Muslims, and people are in confusion how to make their migration, where to go, how to go. So all these are the things people are in great sad saga which never ever happened over there in our country. That what it says regarding the one what we call partition and migration. Next after that, assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. So on 15th August 1947, Notle from Bengal, when he was coming to Delhi, that is on 9th September 1947. So Gandhiji's ideology, what is that means, wherever the situation which is in boil, he tried to make them to cool down. How he was trying to make people to cool, like showing equality, giving complete rights, people to know the feeling of fraternity, behaving like brothers. So all these are the things where he tried to make all the people to follow such type of equality, fraternity, democratic principles, and not only that to have the secularism. So but here instead of that, here the scene which has been turned to the other. So that is on 28th Jan 1948. We know that. So 2 days before, like every day prayer meeting when he was going to be attend, like every day offering the prayer. So 2 days before, as how we came to know that, he said the word, if I am going to kill by a madman, I should have only smile on my lips and my heart should be only with love. Such a great words what he has been said. And meanwhile, we did not expected that. But all of a sudden, Nathuram Godse, who came and started making the fight towards Gandhiji with one word, Hey Ram, and he was living his last breath and he was no more. That was a very painful. The entire India was in a great shock, and that was, what is that shocking news means? Nathuram is one of the member of Hindu Mahasabha, and being in the same mission, how this incident can take place, people are in confusion. And not only that, we have lost our fanatic leader, the father of our nation. He was no more means as the Indians, we are unable to tolerate and bear such type of situation. So, and when he was arrested over there in Bombay, Nathuram Godse, on 14th February 1948, from that Hindu Mahasabha, they have been eliminated him, and such type of person should not be there as being in the same mission. And how can he take such type of violent method, and how he has been used such type of bullets insulting to Gandhiji. These are the things what it says about his assassination. So with which Gandhiji was no more. That was the end of this assassination. And coming to the next, what we call integration of states. And there, as when Britishers are ruling our country for a double century, 200 years ago, there are around about nearly 550 princely states, like having the kingship or the queen, only the rule which was continued. So there and then, so at these circumstances, now what was the ultimate task of India is only to make unification of India. Means all the states to be united as one, and what we have, what we are going to call as India. So in this situation, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first deputy prime minister of our country, was also called Iron Man of India. He was the charge in the month of July 1947. What for he was the charge means to make the unification by 15th August 1947. But when he was taking the charge as a first deputy prime minister, 3 states are not at all accepting. What are the 3 states? Like Kashmir, Hyderabad, and as well as Junagadh. These states are still, they want to have the same like kingship. They want to continue the same rule, and they want to enjoy such type of princely states rules and regulation, like leading their life. They are habituated for all these years. They were not at all accepting, especially the 3 states like Kashmir, Hyderabad, and as well as Junagadh. But with the interference of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first deputy prime minister, taking as a police action, and he made these states to be join with India there and then. That was the complete accomplishing of one what we call unification of India. There and then 14th, midnight August 1947, we got our own independence and we celebrate the Independence Day as we know that. So after that, what things we have experiences there in this integration of states, the first phase, new states were still existing till 1956, and what are the other changes which we have made? Elimination of privy purses, that is in the year 1971, and whatever the titles which the former princely families are having, these all things are eliminated. So these are the things what we have made. By and then, what was the condition of our country 1947 with low, bad infrastructure and poor nation, low development? These all are only because of how the colonial masters, they ruled our country for 200 years and they suppressed, depressed and made our nation to be very low in all circumstances. They never made the India to be uplifted. So with which, what are the things, what we have made, means we lost our self-confidence, we lost our self-dependence. That was the situation. Bad infrastructure, no development, only just we are there under the British and they enjoyed such type of luxurious and as well as imperial rules and regulation over there in India, and we the people, we lost our importance, like what we have to get self-confidence and self-dependent, and that what it became for the Indians to have the challenges and how to face such type of situation. It's an opportunity what we have learned and we came to understand that how to make our nation to be developed. So with all these clutches, we suffered a lot and at least we are successful at the end of 200 years when they ruled. That is, as you know, that 15th August 1947. So due to that, we celebrate the day as independence, and that was the end of this one, what we call integration of the states. By that we have completed this unit. Thank you. Have a nice day.